Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. And there's still time if you give Briar-Greaves Insurance a call and see how they can help you with your insurance needs. You will automatically be entered into a raffle to win tickets into the lower bowl section of Raymond James Stadium for the Bucs Falcons Thursday night football game in December. It's the Creamsicle game. It's coming up soon. So all you got to do is give Briar-Greaves Insurance a call. It's a Pewter post-game show where we are talking about a Bucs second straight loss as they fell to the Bills in a high-scoring game that they were on the wrong end of, 44-32. It was a great offensive performance, but an abysmal defensive performance with some questionable coaching decisions as well. So a lot to break down in this game as the Bucs fall to 6-4 on the season. We'll get to plenty of super chats, comments as well, because Bucs fans, we know you're feeling some type of way about this loss. So I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is Scott Reynolds, SR at PewterReport.com. Scott, a back and forth game until the end, but too many mistakes ended up hurting the Bucs once again. Kind of a story we've seen before.
Yeah, but not like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is ridiculous defense on so many levels, from the play calls to some of the execution. We saw plenty of playmakers not make plays today at all. Vita Vea, no tackles, nothing. And I'm not usually one to like box score scout, right? But at the same time, you're supposed to be a guy that's going to penetrate the pocket, put some pressure on the quarterback, get a couple sacks, etc. We haven't seen that in a little while. Yaya Diaby was a ghost today. Okay.
Yeah.
Levante David, 4 tackles. I think he forced a fumble early in the game. Was recovered by the Bills. Not good enough. Zion McCollum, they paid this guy $16 million a year, has yet to come up with any type of takeaway whatsoever. And Jamel Dean, unfortunate. I think Jamel Dean actually could have been a difference maker in this game.
Yeah.
Instead, it was his replacement, Benjamin Morrison, looking like a rookie, having the poor eye discipline, giving up a huge touchdown early in that game to give the Bills some momentum. That was a play that probably should have, at least been broken up or whatever, but it just wasn't meant to be. Sean Tucker, though, great game from him. It was just sad that the Buccaneers wasted such a great offensive performance. 202 yards rushing against the Bills. They came into this game averaging 147 yards allowed on the ground. 3 touchdowns from Sean Tucker today.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think enough points scored by the offense that's going to win most Sundays. And certainly a bounce back game for Baker Mayfield, who looked great running the ball today. That was kind of the secret sauce that had been missing. We saw that with the rushing touchdown, picking up multiple first downs. This looked like the Baker, Matt, that we saw against the Falcons in week 1, against the Texans in week 2, against the Jets in week 3. And it just wasn't enough today because the defense was absolutely inept and disgraceful. It was a disgraceful performance by this Bucs defense, and it cost them big today.
The defense was abysmal, egregious. They looked lost. There was guys wide open. It was very reminiscent performance-wise of the Seahawks game where they just had no answers for anyone or anything. I mean, we're talking about a Bills wide receivers group that might be the least threatening that Tampa Bay will go up against this season, maybe except for Arizona outside of like Marvin Harrison Jr. But, these guys were running wide open. James Cook did nothing on the ground, but was wide open on his touchdown catch. And it infuriates me even more seeing Todd Bowles after the game where Todd Bowles finally made some coaching blunders today. The biggest one being not going for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah,
and
I
he
agree.
said in the postgame press conference, it was early in the fourth quarter. It was not early in the fourth quarter. It was mid to late in the fourth quarter. And he's used this line last year, and it would make me want to rip my hair out when he's like, oh, I trust our defense to get a stop. You trust your defense to get a stop? You've been allowing 30-plus points per game, or, at that point in the game, you're about to let up another 6 to 7 points. Like, you're going to trust your defense all of a sudden? Like, sometimes Todd Bowles loses his sense of reality of, oh, well, I trust our defense. They weren't getting the job done. Josh Allen had all freaking day to throw, and then when he didn't have a chance to throw, he would run. The Bucs had no answers, left, right, center, all over the place. And that ultimately did them in. Yeah, there were some mistakes on the offense, but they ran the ball so well. And then special teams is completely different story in of itself. It's so funny, too, because when they punted the ball the few times they had to, they actually punted it pretty well. The first time
Josh Hayes made a great play, stripping, Mecole Hardman of the ball.
Yeah. So punt coverage, fantastic. A plus. They pinned the Bills deep on the first drive. That led to the Jacob Parrish interception. But kick return, how many? Every single return, midfield, past midfield to the 40, over and over and over again. Not once did they try to force until the dirty ball at the end. They didn't try to force anything different, or at least just accept the touchback and start at
Kick
the 35.
the ball into the end zone. Kick the ball into the end zone. Kick the ball into the end zone. It's not hard. This isn't hard.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That was insanity. After the third time, it's like, all right, just accept that you're going to start at the 35. So be it. But, they talk a lot, not just, the Bucs coaches, but coaches around the league. They talk about winning the battle in at least 2 out of the 3 phases of the game, offense, special teams, and defense. Well, they lost 2 out of the 3 with defense and special teams for sure. And that's why the Bucs lost. And they're showing again, playing against good teams, their defense isn't showing up against the top level talent. And they played against the MVP today, and Josh Allen sure freaking looked like an MVP.
The special teams blunders today on the kickoff coverage, not once, not twice, not 3 times. I mean, it was ridiculous. And that amount of yardage given up, where you're giving the Bills possession at their own 45, around the 50-yard line, into Tampa Bay territory, time after time again, kick the ball into the end zone. Okay? And this guy right here, I've seen enough. Thomas McGahee needs to be relieved of his duties either now or later, but I've seen enough. From the blocked field goals to the blocked kicks to these returns. We have not seen the Bucs return game really do anything special in a long time. It's not special. It's subpar is what it is. It's not special teams. So I'm sorry. This game was lost on the coaching, in my opinion. Todd Bowles, I appreciate him, and we talked about this. I wrote about it in the SR's Fab 5. He called players out during the meeting on Monday. Zion McCollum, Antoine Winfield Jr., other players, and we're going to call some players out here too. Levante David, Antoine Winfield Jr., Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby didn't make any plays of impact. And these are some of your best players, Zion McCollum included. Didn't make any impact plays. Tykee Smith was playing his ass off today. Servante Dennis came up with an interception. Maybe should have batted it down. At the same time, you can't fault a player who is yet to record an interception for getting his first interception. That was kind of a gimme play. And you never know. You catch it, you run for 20 yards, 30 yards. Maybe you run for a pick six. Who knows? But it started off as a great first half for the Bucs defense. Jacob Parrish had an interception. The problem is on offense, they couldn't match the Bills touchdown for touchdown. There was just a couple too many field goals, but really the culprit was the defense today. And I just thought Todd Bowles, some of his calls were just not good. He needs to stand up in front of the team and say, this one's on me. And he kind of did that. I'll give him credit. He kind of did that in the post-game press conference, Matt. He talked about, how he's got to coach you better and it starts with him. I don't know that this wasn't about effort today. This wasn't about hustle today. This wasn't about The explosive plays that were given up, some of those were just bad defensive calls, putting players in compromising positions, right?
Yeah.
And, I know people think, oh, well, Diaby shouldn't be covering a receiver down the field. That wasn't on him. That was on Benjamin Morrison. They were in cover 4. That was easy to see. Cover 4, the rookie just lost his eye discipline, and I hate to say it, but Jamel Dean turned into Jamel Dean, right? The clock struck midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like the first drive of the game, too.
I know. 2 plays in, and he's hurt, and then can't help this team, and it ended up costing him today. I'm not blaming this all on Jamel Dean by any means, but I would have rather had them out there. He's the leading interceptor, 2 forced fumbles. He's a playmaker this year. It's unfortunate, but Benjamin Morrison got picked on again today, and that's going to continue to happen because he's a rookie.
I know. I almost wonder and Jacob Parrish played so well today. Obviously, the interception had a great tackle for loss.
Yeah.
Depending on how many times Morrison is going to lose some battles, and let's face it, with the exception of Tykee Smith, every defensive back for the Bucs was losing battles today, whether it was Ian McCollum or Benjamin Morrison as well. But we've seen the Bucs, and this was out of necessity because of injuries, when Morrison was out for a little bit, and then either Zion missed a game or Dean missed a game.
Yeah.
But we saw Jacob Parrish play outside corner. And I get that he's a smaller guy, but I mean, he's playing 10 times better than Benjamin Morrison is, albeit at a different position. Yeah. I wouldn't hate the idea of next week against the Rams, who are going to have a freaking field day with this Bucs defense, regardless of if Jamel Dean comes back. But if Dean isn't available, I would almost consider putting Jacob Parrish outside at corner and then either having Christian Izien in the slot or
Kindle Vildor.
Yeah, Kindle Vildor as well, who had the interception against the 49ers.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of different issues. And they finally did a good job of stopping the run against James Cook, was doing nothing. And then the fourth quarter, when it mattered the most, then the Bills are ripping off 8-9 yard chunks on running plays. So just nothing worked for the Bucs. And what's crazy is that first drive, and I get it, the first drive doesn't dictate everything else that's going to happen for the rest of the game. But they got pressure on Josh Allen on those first 2 plays, and that immediately resulted in the interception for Jacob Parrish. Servante Dennis was blitzing right up the middle.
Yeah.
To me, there was too many times, and we can look at the stats after and later and the next day. There's too many times, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. They just went 3-man pass rush, 4-man pass rush. And I'd rather them, even if they're not going to take down Josh Allen, because I understand that's difficult to do.
He started off the game 5 of 13 with 2 interceptions, right?
Right. I mean, because they had blitzes and pressure, and then they stayed away from that. And it's like, I don't know, they still got beat deep, and they still got beat on explosive plays. I'd rather go down swinging. Explosive plays, going down swinging, trying to get pressure in his face. And if he escapes it, well, that's why he's Josh Allen. But they didn't even put the defense, and that's where it falls on Bowles.
I agree.
The defense can only make so many calls.
Yes.
They didn't have the opportunities to really go after Josh Allen.
I agree.
This is a back and forth game where 1 or 2 stops maybe makes the difference.
I totally agree. As Travis King says, why wasn't Yaya rushing the passer on that play? I agree. Timothy Fitzgerald, Nelson on Cooks was criminal negligence. I agree. Have your pass rushers rush the passer. It's not hard. It really isn't. It was working, and you stopped doing it. It was asinine. I don't understand. I do not understand. And as the end result of this game, you're giving up 40-plus points, 6 touchdowns to the Bills. 6. You couldn't even stop them for what? 1 field goal? 1?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And that's a recurring theme because that happened against the Patriots, not settling for field goals, just touchdowns over and over. And while we're talking about Todd Bowles, I think some of his, besides just defensive calls, I think some of his in-game decision makings were very questionable as well. The 4th and 2, again, is just malpractice. You got to see the writing on the wall, man.
Yeah. Read the room. Your defense isn't getting it done. It's not.
And I wasn't overly angry about it at the time, but they went for 2 in the 3rd quarter and didn't get it. Yeah. I didn't get it then. I didn't mind it when it was the 4th quarter and they were up 1 and it would have put them up 3. That was fine. But I think rule of thumb is you typically don't go for 2 until the 4th quarter, unless there's a penalty that puts you on the 1-yard line. But the Bucs flat out suck on 2-point conversions. They're 1 for 7. The only one they got was against Seattle with the Emeka Egbuka. I know sometimes it's a game of chance and a game of risk, but they just cannot convert on these 2-point conversions, and
No,
it
they
puts
can't.
them even
And
further behind the 8
you're
ball.
right,
So.
Matt. And again, you got to read the room. You're 1 of 6 this year on third down conversions. Okay. And honestly, go back to that Saints game. You're not good around the goal line. You really aren't. This is not a good goal to go offense. So why you're going for it that early in the game makes no sense to me. I mean, you have to look at the flip side of this. The positive is like, yeah, okay, we're up like, 8 points here or 7 points there or 3 points there, whatever. But the bottom line is if you don't get it, you got to look at the flip side there. Right, this team should have been up by 3. They were up by 1. And at the end of the day, that didn't cost them the game. But the thinking for it, I don't understand why this team is trying to get 2-point conversions when they don't have to, right? Because if you don't get it, like then you're chasing those extra points all game, and it just I don't get it. If this team was converting third down conversions at 70-80%, sure, okay, fine, but you're not. Read the room. You're not getting the job done. So again, now here's the thing, Matt, you and I predicted a Buccaneer loss. So at the end of the day, the outcome doesn't surprise me, but how it transpired does. I didn't think the Bucs defense was going to play this bad. I really didn't. I didn't see this type of defensive performance. And I'm not going to say effort because I think the effort was there. I think Todd Bowles is right. The effort was there. It just, he got out-coached today by Joe Brady. He just did. And Josh Allen outplayed the Bucs defense today. And the Bucs star playmakers didn't show up and make the superhero plays that they're paid money to do. And this is the kind of game where you need those. Tykee Smith was playing his ass off today. He almost got concussed today, right? But, Jacob Parrish had his first interception of his career. So same with Servante Dennis. They had opportunities, and they were they had a 3-2, at one point 3-1, if not until that last Baker strip sack. They were 3-1 in terms of the turnover margin today. Yeah, in their advantage, and they couldn't capitalize on it. A 203, it was 202 given the kneel down by Teddy Bridgewater. But for Sean Tucker's day to be wasted, Matt, you and I kind of spoke this into existence this week on the Pewter Report podcast.
We wanted it.
And on the Pewter pregame, we wanted it. We got it. And it wasn't enough. If you would have told me Sean Tucker's going to score 3 touchdowns and,
have 100 rushing.
Have 100 rushing yards, the Bucs are going to rush for 202 yards on the day, I probably would be homeless right now because I would have put my mortgage, would have put my home on the line on a bet for this. But I did not expect the Bucs defense to absolutely just bow down to Josh Allen today. What a day Allen had. I mean, he is the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. He is your NFL MVP. It's not Baker Mayfield. Baker didn't play bad today. But on the Pewter pregame show, folks, we did tell you about a guy named Cole Bishop. And we said you're gonna find out who this guy is. That was his 3rd interception of the game. And as Baker Mayfield said, that really kind of tipped the momentum into the Bills' favor with that 4th quarter interception. And it's not like Baker lost the game here. It's not like the offense lost the game. 32 points should get you a W in the NFL, but it certainly didn't help, right? And Cole Bishop, again, that's why you tune into the Pewter pregame show. We tell you things about this. And, he did a great job today covering Cade Otton and getting that interception. And it was just unfortunate that the Buccaneers had to lose this game. But, Matt, you and I, at the end of the day, you and I and Adam, I think all picked the Bills to win. Bailey and Josh picked the Bucs to win. So we're all tied now. It's 6-4 with the Buccaneers at the Pewter Report picks table.
Yeah, and it really is unfortunate they squandered such a good game from Sean Tucker. It's very reminiscent of that Saints game that Sean Tucker had last season.
Yeah,
with all the scores and the points. And everything like that. I think he was a bright moment. And yeah, I mean, we did ask for Sean Tucker to get more rushing attempts. And Rachaad White was playing pretty good up until that point too. It was just, that's what Sean Tucker does. He gives you the explosive plays that Rachaad White just doesn't give. And that was full on display with his first rushing touchdown of the game. And then, like, for the Bucs defense, really what concerns me, because, again, the Bucs are still overall in a solid spot. They have a tough matchup against the Rams, but the Panthers, even with winning today, they're so up and down. It's still the Bucs division to win. My concern is the whole team, but more specifically, the defense, when it comes to better opponents, they just don't show up
Yeah.
in these big games and these big
I know.
matchups. Yes, they beat the Seahawks, but it was an abysmal defense performance.
Yep.
They got bullied by the Detroit Lions. They
did.
really the only good performance they had against a good team was against San
49ers.
Francisco.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and 49ers were missing Kittle and a lot of their other wide receivers, and Mac Jones was in. It wasn't Brock Purdy. So, like, to me, you look at getting – and this is all recent – getting bullied by the Lions, everything that happened against New England, and then you look at today's game, and it's like, damn, they might make the playoffs and win the division, but they're not going to go very far with the defense that's allowing over 30-plus points to the best teams in the league. And Bowles is going to say, well, we didn't have Jamel Dean. We have injured guys. I don't care. Like, everyone else is dealing with injuries too.
Yep.
If your game plan is have Jamel Dean do everything or else we're screwed, that's not a good game plan.
It's not a strategy.
It's not a good strategy. So there's a lot to fix on this team on both sides. I mean, you can be mad at the offense. You get the ball at the 10-yard line after the Parrish interception, and you score 3.
I agree.
Instead of 7. There are things to nitpick about the offense as well. We've been critical of the offense the past couple of games. This is their best offensive performance in a month, and it got absolutely squandered.
Yeah,
and Baker finally ran, and all of a sudden the offense starts working again. Yeah. But and Baker missed some. Again, the first drive where they settled for 3.
Yep.
Baker had Emeka Egbuka. He just threw it too high. That's not on Josh Grizzard, and people are blaming Josh Grizzard. I don't know. I still think it comes back to player execution. Emeka Egbuka dropped a pass where it would have been an 8-yard gain. Then, it didn't work on a run with Tez Johnson, so it made it 3rd and 12. But if Emeka Egbuka makes that catch, you're looking at 2nd and 2 instead of 3rd and 12. So, I don't know. The coaching was bad, but I'm not on Josh Grizzard as much as the other coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people on social media on X, and I get it. Y'all are fans, and I appreciate your passion, but you're making comments like, Josh Grizzard needs to go. Fire Josh Grizzard. I'm like, just put up 367 yards, 202 yards rushing, 32 points without Cody Mauch, Ben Bredesen, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and Bucky Irving. Seriously. Like, y'all got to check yourselves. Like, this one was not on Josh Grizzard. Was there a play call to here or there that he would have loved to have had back? Absolutely, right? They at the end of the day, they couldn't match the Bills' touchdowns because the Bucs kicked a couple field goals. But this was not on Josh Grizzard. Not when you give up that many points on defense. It just wasn't. I mean, this was a game that was lost on the Todd Bowles side of the team. You can't give up 44 points and expect to win in any game. No. Sorry, game over. You give up 44 points, you're going to lose, and you deserve the L. And that's exactly what happened today.
It really was. We got a lot of super chats to get to. Bucs fans, they want to sound off, and I respect it, and I get it, and we're going to acknowledge it as well. So we'll start off with Ryan Brosnan. Thanks for the $10 super chat. It says, fire Todd now. We will only maybe win against the Saints and Dolphins the rest of the year. I disagree with that.
I disagree with that too.
Yeah, they should beat the Cardinals. Cardinals are losing 19-7 right now to the 49ers. They should. I don't know. The Falcons seem to give the Bucs issues. They should at least split with the Panthers.
Yeah,
I would say there's more games to win on the horizon. And let's be honest, we've seen this story before.
Yeah.
Bucs go on a losing streak. The world's going to end. They get through the mud, and then they get back on a winning streak. So, I mean, if we're being realistic, they're probably going to lose the Rams on Sunday night.
Agreed.
And then they're going to rattle off. And they're going to rattle off a bunch of wins against the Cardinals, and and then the Saints, and then it'll be a big game Thursday against the Falcons, and we'll see what happens with the Panthers at that time. But there is still hope. There is still a light at the end of the tunnel. Just got to wait a little bit more.
I mean, you lose to the Rams, you're 6-5. You beat the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Falcons. Those are 3 wins right there. Then you are 9-5. Then you lose. Let's say you lose to Carolina, you're 9-6. You take care of business. You beat the Dolphins. You're 10 wins, and then you beat the Panthers at home. You're at 11. You're 11-5. That's what I predict this team to be at the end of the year. 11-5. Even if there is a stub your toe game in there, as long as you don't get swept by the Panthers. As long as that extra loss is not to Carolina, you're at 10 wins. That's going to win the division again this year. It just is. So, I mean, they're kind of on pace. They're kind of on schedule. Nobody wants to hear that, especially after a loss. But 11 wins is still very attainable for this team. But then again, it gets to your point, Matt. Okay, you get that home wildcard game. Are you going to win? Are you going to advance? Then you're going to have to go on the road because you're going to likely be the 4th seed in the NFC. Can you win wherever, in Seattle, in Philly, wherever that divisional round of the playoffs is, Detroit again, wherever it's going to be? Can you win there? Do you have enough horses? Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I even worry about getting out of the first round before I'm talking about the second round. Paul Morales, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I'm out on Todd. He simply isn't a head coach. Honestly, it's harassment having him as a head coach.
Holy smokes.
I get the feeling a little bit with Bowles. It might be a Tony Dungy situation of like good team, successful, but not getting all the way.
Yep.
Someone brought it up during the game day show. It would be and I don't like Todd Bowles is a great guy. I'm not calling for his job. I don't want him to lose his job.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be a wild, crazy scenario if there's a certain head coach that's recently been on our podcast that there's a lot of rumors wants to get back into coaching.
John Gruden.
If they were to let go of Todd Bowles and John Gruden comes back and takes the team to the Super Bowl again, like he did the first time they won a Super Bowl. I'm not like rooting for it. I'm just saying it'd be pretty wild.
It would be interesting, right? It would be a full circle moment.
Yeah.
For John Gruden to go in the Bucs Ring of Honor as a Super Bowl champion, be stripped of your Bucs Ring of Honor title, and then get put back in, and then be made
win a Super Bowl. Yeah,
that would be
the third franchise.
That would be insane.
Third franchise history. Yeah. Carlos R, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, when are we going to realize that Todd Bowles is not going to be a Super Bowl winning head coach? Signs have been there, no discipline or commitment to excellence.
I mean, let's look at it from your point of view here, Carlos, and every other Todd Bowles hating fan right now. Okay, detractor. Yeah, probably a better way to say it. But I don't know. I think the hate is real right now. And the
hate is real and intense.
And we're going to recognize it. So here's the problem, though, right? If you're the Blazers and if you're Jason Light and you look at this scenario, all right, who's going to replace Todd Bowles? There's that. Not that I'm calling for Todd Bowles right now. I'm not calling for his job. Special teams coordinator, Thomas McGahee, fire him, fire at will, as far as I'm concerned. You have not done enough to keep your job. But for Todd Bowles' sake, injuries are the excuse this year, right? From week 1 on, like the injuries weren't even this bad last year. They were not as bad in 2023 at all. This was a very healthy team in 2023. 2022 was an old Buccaneer team with old Tom Brady going through a divorce. Still didn't have this many injuries. So my point is I don't know that the Blazers or Jason Light is going to blame Todd for not having Mike and Bucky and Chris and Ben and Cody and Hassan and all of these missing pieces that are not just starters, but stars on your team. And I'm not giving Todd a pass here. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this from a realistic standpoint, saying injuries are the perfect excuse this year. And I don't know that they're going to make a move unless this team just bottoms out, Matt, and doesn't win the division and doesn't make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make a move on Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's not fair to him that a lot of these players have been injured. However, we see other coaches across the league that are more equipped to coming up with game plans and schemes and ideas for the players that they have available.
Yeah.
And Bowles, I don't think, has really proven that just yet. He deserves credit for navigating through, Tom Brady's last season with everything going on, with having no salary cap and the first year with Baker. So he's good in many facets, but the issues that he has just really flares up a lot. And obviously it gets maximized 100 times when they lose and when they lose in a bad defense performance. So.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this. I mean, and I'm being completely honest with you, and please forgive me for not, studying the Bills hard enough, I guess. I'll take the L on that one. But Matt, it's like, I didn't know who Terrell Shavers was until today.
Neither did I.
I
don't think many people did.
I didn't. He had, coming into the game, 7 catches for 82 yards and no touchdowns. Okay. And then Ty Johnson, the running back, he had 6 catches for 55 yards and no touchdowns. So these are 2 players that obviously played huge today, had big-time touchdowns for the Bills today. Shavers ended up with 4 catches for 90 yards in his first touchdown of the year. And then Johnson had 2 catches for 61 yards, including the 52-yard touchdown. Okay, so I didn't know who these guys were. I mean, I just didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, and these guys obviously played better than Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David, Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby, Zion McCollum. They made plays where the Bucs stars didn't make plays on defense. So, just saying.
I'm just laughing because I literally cut Ty Johnson from one of my fantasy teams this morning because I needed a kicker. And I'm like, he's done nothing all season long, so I wasn't even going to play him anyway. And then, bam, he has that touchdown.
Yep.
But, yeah, just funny how that works. Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, this loss falls squarely on the defense. I'm not sure where we go from here, but this is not a championship contending team. Certainly not on defense. I agree with that. I think a lot of the blame, as we mentioned earlier, has to go to special teams, too.
Yep.
Special teams has played big factors for the Bucs this year, both good and bad. There's been some Cameron Johnson returns, punt returns, that have been big.
Yep.
But there's been some Riley Dixon blocked punts. There's been some Chase McLaughlin missed kicks early in the games that made it close, that they were able to win. There's been some Chase McLaughlin game-winning kicks that have helped the Bucs as well. But too many times it's kind of set them behind the 8 ball in very unnecessary ways, and today was a perfect example. I don't know if the Bucs defense gets any of the stops anyway with how they played today, but again, they just had to go 50 yards instead of 60, 70 yards, 75.
Sure. 20 yards and you're in field goal range, right? I mean, that's not winning football, right? It's just not. And again, for Todd Bowles to not sit there and tell Thomas McGahee, like, hey, if Chase McLaughlin can't kick it out of the end zone or kick it into the end zone, like, let Riley Dixon get a shot. Like, I need the ball in the end zone. I need to start the drive at the 35, not the 50, or not on my side of the field. And it was just ridiculous. And it kept happening over and over and over again.
Every time. And there's been times the kick coverages look good, but not today. Correct. Not by any means. Virgin Boys, thanks for the $9.99 super chat, says, so we just give up when we still have a chance? It sucks because we will still make the playoffs and lose the first game at home, and we will end up keeping Todd Bowles for another mediocre season.
Give me interesting to see how it plays out, right? I mean, again, I have this team at 11, but at the same time, Tony Dungy made the playoffs in 97, didn't make it in 98. That was a big letdown. They finished 8-8, but then made the playoffs in 99, NFC Championship game. 2020, couldn't get out of the first round, lost at Philly. 2000, and then 2001, couldn't get out of the first round of the playoffs, lost at Philly again, and he got fired. At some point in time, if you don't produce in the postseason, you're no good to the Glazers, because it doesn't matter what happens in the regular season. If you get to the postseason and you're one and done, eventually they're going to make a change. I've seen it happen, right? They love Todd Bowles right now, but trust me, if this is a one and done team, they might think twice about Todd Bowles after this. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out and finishes. But he's 1-4. Is that right? 1-4 in the postseason right now. They lost in 2002. He's 1-3. 1-3 in the playoffs.
1-3.
Yeah. So if he goes 1-4, look out.
Yeah, my general stance, and again, this is more of a prediction. I'm not saying the Glazers will go one way or another. I think if they have a first-round exit this year, and they still have to clinch the division and everything, Carolina's nipping up on their heels, I think, a little bit quicker than we expected. If they were to go one and done this year and one and done next year, forget about the win-loss postseason record. That'd be 3 straight years of getting bounced in the first round, and the furthest that he's ever gone is the second round. So I think if it happens this year and next year with the first round, then I think that becomes a way more serious conversation.
Yeah.
Raynard Chamberlain, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, special teams failure, front 7 can't get home, wide receivers crossing and sitting in zones every week. Oh my God, 4th and 2, we punt. When does the bleeding stop? Life support. Yeah, like the 4th and 2, to me, for all the issues the defense had, for all the issues, or some issues that the offense had, you got to give yourself a chance to win the game when you have the ball on 4th and 2. I mean, there's still enough time. If the Bucs go and score, the Bills get the ball, they probably have a chance to score. But it might be a situation, Bucs score, Bills score, Bucs get the ball with a minute left. We'll see how many timeouts you have. But you didn't give your team a chance. And then as soon as the Bills scored, game was over. It was done.
That's exactly right. And really, we talked about it on the Pewter pregame show. This is the first time that I think Todd Bowles really screwed up with game management. I think he's been pretty good this year so far. But you got to read the room. Your defense gave up 6 touchdowns to the Bills and to Josh Allen. 6. You're not going to just magically get a stop here. The momentum was not on your side. You got to read the room, and he didn't. He was stubborn, and he thought, "Well, my defense will get a stop this time," and it just didn't happen. And you've got possession of the ball. You're down. You need a touchdown to go ahead, and that was the opportunity, and it slipped out of their hands.
I respect believing in your guys and having confidence, but there's a time and a place for that. And just this game and that moment wasn't the time and place for it.
Yeah.
Bucs Basement, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I'm honestly at the point where I want the Panthers to win the division the way we are done with Timu, maybe Temple, Tony Dungy. Get rid of him. You're not winning with him. Listen, Bucs Basement, I understand your frustration tenfold. This was a bad Todd Bowles performance today. This was a bad defensive performance. It goes on both ends. It was poor execution. It was poor play calling by Todd Bowles as well. I don't know if you want to root for your team to lose, because if you get into the playoffs, and we've seen it before, we saw it with the Bucs Super Bowl winning team in 2020, if you are able to get into the dance, maybe you catch fire at the right time, maybe you get the right momentum and you're able to go on and make a run. You got to give yourself a chance by getting into the postseason in the first place. But I understand. I understand what your frustrations are. Moving on, Bucs Basement has another $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Bucs Basement. We appreciate your passion for PewterReport.com.
We do.
Says it should say Bowles blows big chance because this loss is on him and his chicken squat decision making. 0-4 against playoff teams, about to be 0-5. Well, again, I know the 49ers didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're 2 seasons removed from a Super Bowl. That was the biggest question mark in the game. There's no question about it. That was the biggest question mark, was not going for it on 4th and 2.
Correct. Seahawks are 7-2. They did beat the Seahawks this year. They're down
that as well
right now against the Rams. The 49ers about to be 7-4. They're beating the Cardinals 25-10 at halftime. So, I know you're not a big fan of Todd Bowles. You're not alone right now, Bucs Basement, but they have beaten 2 really good teams in the NFC this year.
John V, thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 9 months. Says they talk about killer instinct, but from the top, parentheses light, down, this team is conservative. If you're constantly okay with just winning a crap division and getting bounced in the wild card round, then why wouldn't the players?
I'll say this. Jason Light's done a good job drafting. This is a talented football team. There's no doubt about it, right? This team will finish with double-digit wins this year. I'm pretty confident in saying that. 10 or 11, whatever it's going to be. Having said that, I still feel like this team is missing that ass kicker, that fire starter, that Jason Pierre-Paul, that Ndamukong Suh, that Warren Sapp, that Hardy Nickerson, that guy that has been the prick on defense, that makes plays, that is kind of like your killer. And you know what? I think up until he kind of got his bell rung, Tykee Smith was that guy today. Tykee Smith. Yeah. He's been a dog this year. He's been fantastic, but they missed that guy. And I'm all about drafting good guys. You don't have to worry about being on the police blotter and, getting in trouble in Ybor City and all that type of stuff. I get that, but you still need that guy that is going to be that fire starter. And they're missing it really in the front 7. They're missing it at the linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive tackle level. They're missing that absolute killer up front. And I think that is what is keeping this team from being great, because you had the Jason Pierre-Paul, you had the Ndamukong Suh on that Super Bowl team, you had Warren Sapp on that team. Hardy Nickerson helped get the Buccaneers over the top and to turn them from the Yuccaneers to the Buccaneers. He brought that attitude. I just don't see that attitude on defense. I just don't. They have good players. They can make some good individual plays, but they just don't. They don't have that killer instinct on defense. They don't have that stopper, that guy that's going to go out there and just transform this defense and just go into kill mode and just, That like if you're looking at this from a Marvel comic standpoint, there's no Wolverine that's going to slice and dice. That's going to just it got the other team, and they just don't have it.
You would think they'd be pissed off too with how they played against the Patriots in the big plays they allowed, and then they played even worse.
Yeah,
played even worse.
They did.
The Real Maverick, thank you for the $10 super chat, says defense gives up too many big plays. Special teams can't cover a kick return. Yeah. Run the ball well all game, yet throw on a critical 3rd and 2. Bowles unwilling to go for it on 4th and 2 when the defense today couldn't stop anything in the second half.
You are not wrong. You are right. No. Real Maverick, for sure.
And I get, okay, they threw it on 3rd and 2, didn't get it. I understand they ran it successfully all day long, but I think occasionally you got to mix it up and do different things. So I'm not, going crazy about the call.
Right.
And who knows? Maybe Josh Grzar thought I was going to get a 4th down call.
Right.
Didn't get that opportunity. So
yeah. Well, I will say this in terms of mixing it up. We've got a law firm to tell you about that can help you in several different areas of legal practice.
Welcome to Jorgensen Law PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
That's right. With Jorgensen Law Firm, whether it's Sharon or Spencer or Grady, Jorgensen, they are fantastic attorneys. They are the champions of the injured and disabled with an office over in St. Petersburg, Florida. Get a free case evaluation and no fees until they win. Heck, they'll even talk some Tampa Bay football with you. They're huge Tampa Bay fans, big Pewter Report fans as well. Give the folks over at Jorgensen Law a call at 727-347-7733. That's 727-347-7733. They can help you in the areas of personal injury, workers' comp, or Social Security. You can visit them on the web at jorgensenlawoffice.com.
We have another super chat from the Real Maverick. Thank you for this $2 super chat. It says, imagine that Dean got hurt again. Morrison is lost in coverage.
Yeah, I want to let people know they saw Yaya Diaby running down the field. That was a hustle play on Yaya's part. He was in underneath coverage, but he saw Tyrell Shavers, a player who I had never heard of until he scored this touchdown. And Benjamin Morrison was in cover 4, and he just lost eye discipline. He started drifting towards the middle of the field as Allen started to roll towards his right, and then he just threw that pass right behind him. So rookie mistake, and it's unfortunate, but again, it's not his fault that he was injured, but it's like when you miss 4 weeks of training camp and you miss all 3 preseason games, you're constantly playing catch up to understanding the game at the NFL level, learning this defense. Jacob Parrish got these rookie mistakes out of his system in the preseason games. He played in all 3, right? And it's unfortunate. I'm not knocking Benjamin Morrison for getting injured, but it's unfortunate that he was not able to play in a month's worth of training camp action and these 3 preseason games, because the mistakes he's making now, they're costing the Buccaneers touchdowns on defense. And it's trial by fire. It's like it's Vernon Hargreaves kind of stuff. I'm not saying he's bad as Hargreaves, but it's like when you're going to draft a cornerback in the first round and start him, and he gives up, over the course of a season in the 2016 season, the most passing yards of any defensive back in the league. That's not unexpected when you're a rookie thrown into the fire. And it wasn't even like he was in the rotation today, Matt. It's like this was Jamel Dean being injured, so he had to play. But I don't know. At some point, maybe you say, let's put the veteran Kendall Vildor in there instead of Benjamin Morrison.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row where it's, hasn't just been mistakes. It's been costly mistakes, which is the biggest issue. Ryan H. has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 9 months. Thank you so much, Ryan, for all of your support. Says, thank you, Pewter Report, for all of your coverage. There's so much I'd like to say about this game. We're with you. Yes. But honestly, I'm too exhausted by this team. We braced for 6-5, but what's the tone going to be at 6-7 or 7-7?
If it's 6-7, press the panic button. This team should be 7-5. This team should beat the Cardinals. They have not had that stub your toe loss yet. They have lost to a 7-win Bills team. They've lost to a Lions team that is 6-3. Did the Lions play today?
They play tonight.
They
Sunday
play
Night
tonight,
Football.
right?
Against
Okay.
the Eagles. Going to be a great game.
Going to be a great game, yeah. They've lost to a 9-win Patriots team. They've lost to a 7-win Eagles team. So they haven't had that bad loss yet. They can't afford that bad loss, if I'm being honest, this season. They got to beat the Falcons, got to beat the Saints, got to beat the Cardinals, got to beat the Dolphins. If you split against the Fighting Dave Canaleses, like, I can live with that, right? The Buccaneers just about lost in Carolina last year in overtime, if not for that Anthony Nelson strip of Chuba Hubbard. I can live with that. But you can't have that stub your toe game. You can lose the Rams next week. Okay, that's fine. Rams are a really good team, but
they are.
But you've got to win the winnable games.
Sunshine and Lollipops Cat, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Made some emotional posts, but facts. We are one of the better bad teams, not going anywhere. Take me off the ledge, please. Okay, so the Bucs aren't a bad team. They're
a good team. They're not a great team. I think
they're an above average team, in my opinion, because they don't, for the most part, show up against the better teams in the league. So you can't, there's no question they're not a great team.
Correct.
They're the lowest tier of good teams, which is all right.
Yeah.
To, take you off a ledge, Baker Mayfield looks healthier. And if you have a healthy Baker Mayfield ready to go, they could win a lot of games with the Baker Mayfield that they had today. The problem was they needed the Bucs offense to be perfect like it was against Seattle, and it wasn't perfect, unfortunately. It's not totally the Bucs offense's fault. And again, if Mike Evans comes back in December, or if Bucky Irving is able to return at some point, the Bucs used a little bit more pony package today, which I love to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that just a little bit more as well. So, this team's still going to fight. They're still going to be in it at the end. Odds are they're going to win the division. You can't guarantee it, but odds are that they should win the division. That'll give them a home playoff game.
Yeah.
And once you're in the dance, anything can happen if you get momentum at the right time.
I think the ultimate woulda, coulda, shoulda, and it doesn't mean a damn thing at the end of the day. But what would this team be? What would their record be? What would the point production be if this team had Cody and Ben up front and Mike, and not even Chris? Just give me Mike and Bucky, right? Just say, Chris, come back from the injury next year, whatever. And even Jalen, right? That was an unfortunate injury. But with Mike and Bucky on this offense and Ben and Cody up front, those are 4 guys out of the 6 that they're missing that are key contributors. What would this team be? I feel like they would have scored more points at Detroit. I'm not saying they would have beaten the Lions, but it wouldn't have been 24-9. I think maybe there's enough firepower to come back and beat the Eagles, or at least maybe win that game. That was a close game week 4, not the first half, but the second half was. I don't know. It's the ultimate what could have been. The what if scenario we'll never know unless there's another Marvel, multiverse out there that we can tap into to see, if this team was healthy, what would have happened. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate we're seeing, from a talent standpoint, at best B-level Buccaneer team, right? And at times this team is a B team. They fluctuate between B and C, right? And a day like today, you're going to think, well, this was an F. Well, it was an F performance on the defensive side. I would say it was an A performance on the offensive side. Give me 32 points every single game this year, and the Buccaneers have 1 loss, and that's today, right? What did the Patriots score last week? What was the score of that game?
It was like 28-22.
Okay, right. So again, if you give me 32 points every week, the Buccaneers have 1 loss this season. 32 points should get you a win every week. It didn't today, but that's what I'm saying. It's like this was not on the offensive side. So an A for the offense, an F for the defense, you get a C. This is a C level team right now. B, C, that's where it's at.
Yeah, that's true. The Real Maverick, thanks for the $10 super chat, says, why can't this defense figure out how to cover? It seems like to me that aha moment Bowles had didn't work. When they stop the run, they can't stop the pass.
Yeah.
They can't rush the passer at all when it matters. Yeah,
Can't
that's
rush-
the key for
Can't rush the
me.
passer. Yeah.
Like the 5-sack game against the Saints or like the 49ers, so that doesn't mean anything to me when you're not getting the job done in these big moment,
Yes.
big pressure situations. Anyone can get 5 sacks against the
Yeah.
Saints. Let's be honest. So to me, that's more of the issue. People say, "Oh, like they're 4th in the league in sacks." I'm like, all right, well, you got 12 of those 15 sacks against the worst teams in the league. Like, all right, how'd you do against the better teams? No sacks? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Like, how many times did he even hit Josh Allen today?
I know.
Barely, it felt like.
Yep.
Tusk 3.
They pressured him early, and it made a difference. And then they stopped
did?
getting pressure. I just don't understand.
Tusk the Third. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. This team has no idea what complimentary football is. They can't put it all together. Average teams do average things.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's tough to lose the turnover battle the way they did. It really was 3-1. It was technically 3-2, but the game was kind of done when the strip sack happened to Baker.
Yeah.
KGH for life. Thanks for the $5 super chat. I don't think Bowles values the edge rusher. He has them in coverage too often, which resulted in 2 touchdowns.
I think Bowles gets frustrated. He's like, well, damn it, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, I'm just going to drop you in coverage. And he does that with Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby, and they're not good in coverage. I'd rather have them be not good rushing the passer and just keep rushing the passer and hope that you get a spin move, an inside move, you get a bull rush, whatever, that can actually affect a play. Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby are not going to make plays in coverage. They're just not. So to me, it's almost just a waste to have them out there. And I get it. Todd Bowles is like, well, we need to do some zone blitzes to blitz our linebackers. Why don't you keep your front 4 up there and then just blitz extra people? And if you're going to give up touchdowns, I'd rather you give up like big touchdown plays rather than allow Josh Allen to have all day in the pocket. And there's times, Matt, where they rush 3 against Josh Allen.
And it's too much today.
Yeah, and it's just like
stand around all day, and he's so mobile.
Yes, he's got all day to throw, and he'll find the guy that gets open.
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
I would rather have the Bucs outside linebackers be crappy and continue to pass rush after the quarterback than be crappy in coverage and have them drop back, because a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
I think that's the saying. They can stumble their way into a sack one way or another. They're not going to, it's rare. And the Anthony Nelson interception, that wasn't him dropping back in coverage. That was him making a great play, tipping the pass. Yeah. They're not going to stumble their way into an interception. I guess it could happen, but I doubt it. Rich B has now been a YouTube channel member for 14 months. Thank you so much. Says defense giving up big plays. Todd too scared on 4th. Pass game looks lost. Tez open, but Baker Mayfield missed him. Felt like a Byron game with the first down runs. No play action. Run worked, but not sustainable.
I don't know. The run did work, and it was pretty sustainable.
Yeah, it worked a lot.
Holy smokes, man. They had 202 yards rushing on the ground today. They averaged 5.2 yards per carry. They scored 3 touchdowns on the ground. I have no complaints about the running game. Every single run is not going to work. Like, that's just a given, right? But no, I have 0 complaints about the run game today. It was the best rushing performance of the year.
Yeah, and the passing game wasn't like overly conventional, but I think that's fine. They like Sterling Shepard actually had a pretty good game up until he got hurt. He had a big time 3rd and 12 catch that kept the drive going. Mm-hmm. It was a slow game for Tez Johnson, but I don't know. Egbuka was involved. Cade got involved.
Yeah.
Sean Tucker had a receiving touchdown, so they were able to get the job done. Yeah. The Real Maverick, thank you for this $2, says, I've had enough of outside linebackers 25 yards down the field in coverage. We've been asking for that since last season. The worst thing that happened was Hassan Reddick getting that training camp interception.
I know.
It just opened the door for Todd to keep calling.
For the fantasy of what could be, right?
Yeah. Bucs Basement, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Bowles midseason slump, right on schedule. Yeah. I hate to say it, but you can set your watch to it. They get into these 3-4 game losing streaks each season. And now they've lost 3 of their last 4. So not good either.
Yeah.
Timothy Fitzgerald, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, SR, can you remind the defense it's a bye week, not 3 bye weeks?
Yeah. It's been bad since the bye week for sure on the defensive side. And it's not going to get any better next week. I'm just telling you right now, just be prepared. The Rams right now, they're winning 14-12. They have plenty of firepower. Seahawks actually have a pretty good defense, better than the Bucs defense. Yeah. So just be prepared for 6-5. We tried to tell you this a couple weeks ago, and hopeful that we were going to be wrong, but we weren't.
Nope. Farouk Kawab, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says even a Byron Leftwich offense could cook this defense. That might be the most disrespectful thing we've heard on the Pewter Report podcast.
Yeah,
but not wrong the way they played today, or the way that it was called today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Wells, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, hey, Matt and SR, you guys are the best. It's been a minute for me, but glad to see you guys putting in the work. Well, thank you so much, Mike. And
good to see you, Mike.
Kind words. Yeah, kind words like that. Oh, sorry, my headphone came out. But kind words like that make us love doing this show. So thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Drillman32, thank you for the $5 super chat. Nothing like rushing for 170 yards and never rushing on 3rd and short all game. Kick it out of the end zone. Morrison lacks zone discipline. Contain.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to nitpick the run game, there were a couple of 3rd and shorts where I would have liked to seen the Buccaneers run rather than throw. I didn't quite get that, and the runs inside that is nitpicking. Yes, the runs inside the lower red right after that Jacob Parrish interception at the 10-yard line. They were not terribly inspiring. But again, Sean Tucker goes over 100 yards, has 3 touchdowns on the game. They average 5.2 yards per carry, 202 yards. The running game wasn't the problem today. It was other factors, mostly on the defensive side. So you're going to give up 42 points. You're not going to win games in the NFL. It's that simple. This is all on the defense. The offense did enough to where they should have had the win if the defense just plays respectable. Just if the defense put forth a C- effort today, they win that game.
Right.
32-30 or something like that. But
even if they allowed
ridiculous
28 points, we'd be like, hey, they caused 2 turnovers, and then special teams got a turnover as well. But when you allow over 40 points, and sure, Baker did have the 1 interception that wasn't great, but outside of that, it was just the defense just allowing plays.
Yeah. And I think the thing too is like what we're not seeing. And like, I remember, back in my day, you'd have Derek Brooks and John Lynch and Warren Sapp all making plays in the same game.
Yeah.
And it's like, even during the Super Bowl team, the 2020 to 2021 team, you'd have games where Shaq and JPP would feast, right? You would have, a game where like Devin White, before he let, his ego run amok, he and Antoine Winfield Jr. would be making plays in the game. We're not seeing the Justice League, the Avengers, the X-Men, whatever you want to call them. We're not seeing the superhero squad on the defense. It's like Tykee Smith and nobody, right? Or it's Levante David and nobody. And we're not seeing 2 or 3 guys on the defense rise up. And I think the only game they've done that this year is against the lowly Saints. That was the only game where they've really had multiple defenders show up and say, hey, I'm putting the superhero cape on too. Like, let's get this job done. And it just, you can't have that when you've got a lot of money invested in players like Vita Vea, Levante David, Zion McCollum, Winfield for sure. Yaya Diaby, 3rd round pick. Hassan Reddick's not there, but he hasn't been great this year. You have all these players that have, star caliber potential and have had, star performances here and there. They don't string those games together. The guy that's played the best consistent football on defense week to week has been Tykee Smith.
Yeah.
And then
without a doubt.
And then there hasn't been that guy that has come alongside and has a forced fumble one week, has an interception the next week, has honestly, Jacob Parrish, it might be that player. And we're forgetting about Jamel Dean because he didn't play today because he got hurt again. But he's been that guy who probably, along with Tykee, has been the most consistent playmaker. But, I'm still waiting for Zion McCollum to show up. I mean, $16 million is a lot of money. And you're going to, make Jamel Dean take a pay cut. And I love Zion, but it's like, man, I'm beginning to question whether Jason Light and Mike Greenberg jumped the gun here in giving him that money. They should have let it, in hindsight, they should have let it play out and let him have a contract year and say, show us what you got. Because right now, the Zion McCollum that's playing this year would not be getting a $16 million contract at the end of the season at all.
It's crazy because they cut the contract of Jamel Dean to have it be this year. where it's like they should have held on to the Dean contract. And again,
That's
like
right.
you don't have the foresight of how good they're going to play. But
Right.
if they held on to the Dean regular contract before they made the adjustments and you made Zion play it out, well, you'd have Jamel Dean for another season, good to go. And Zion, you make a decision on, but it's flipped the other way. David Weber, thanks for the $1.99, says, won the turnover battle 2 weeks in both losses. Yeah. Bucs inventing new ways to lose. It's not the impressive that you want to see, but it's a little impressive. Mike Wells, thanks for the $9.99, says, guys, I know we're still at 6-4, but I think a conversation needs to be had if Bowles is the guy that can take this team to greatness, because this team has the talent, but I think he's holding us back. Yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier. Injuries play a big factor. He deserves credit for getting this team through tough times. Tom Brady's last year and the first year where they had, no money on the salary cap, but got a bargain Baker Mayfield and was able to make that work. So he's definitely earned the right to, prove it with this team this year. And I would even say next year, unless, again, they were to lose out the rest of the season.
Right.
But I think after next season, if we're not seeing the type of progress that, should be demanded of this team, I think it would be time to revisit this conversation. Or maybe they're winning games, but they're winning, 55-45 and stuff like that. And the defense just isn't getting it done.
Yeah.
But don't really plan on seeing that. Tyler Lovell has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for a year. That is awesome to see. Thank you so much for your support. Says, Broussard at his most creative is still bland, in my opinion. I'm actually going to disagree with this.
Me too.
To be perfectly honest with you. You had Baker Mayfield keep the ball on a designed quarterback run after faking the handoff on a 3rd and short. They had the pony package where Rachaad White lined up as the fullback on a 3rd and short and ran it with Rachaad White and maybe even was 4th down and was able to get the 1st down. And also last week, I know it didn't work, but they ran a 2-point conversion play where Emeka Egbuka was going to throw the football to Baker Mayfield in the end zone. So it's hard to say that he hasn't been creative. They've done end arounds with Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson. Hasn't always worked, but to say that he hasn't been creative, I just don't think is fair or true.
He's playing with 2 rookie wide receivers and a 32-year-old Sterling Shepard. Those are the weapons he has to work with in the passing game. And Cade Otton, who is a good tight end. Not great, but good. That's it. I mean, that's what he has. Those are the weapons he has at his disposal right now. So I don't know what you expect. I mean, I think he's been incredibly creative in trying to get it done. No Bucky, no Mike, no Chris, no Jalen. You give him those 4 guys and this offense struggles to score points, like criticize all day long. I think he has been dealt. He's trying to win a game of poker with like 3 9s,
Yeah.
or like two pair. I mean, like he's trying to win poker with a deck or with a hand that's awful, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good way of describing it. Amazement 717. Thanks for the $9.99. I was screaming for the Bucs to go for it on 4th. It was going to take 40 points to win that game.
Yeah.
This loss was squarely on special teams and defense. Hidden yardage matters. Run game and Baker legs finally back. So that last part, definitely a positive.
Agreed.
And I agree with you, Amazement 717. Not going for it on 4th and 2 was essentially the blow in this game for the Bucs because they weren't going to come back from a 2-score deficit. Neither team was going to come back from a 2-score deficit, the way the offenses were playing. And, they kind of waved the white flag on that punt. I don't know why. It was middle of the 4th quarter, later in the 4th quarter, and that did them in.
I agree.
Bucs Basement with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, SR will never call for Bowles' job. Ever since he did it after the Texans game in 23, he hasn't done it, and he's deserved some, especially now.
Okay. I mean, he also dug this team out of 2 holes to finish with the NFC South Championship, and they had a chance. I mean, they lost to the Commanders in the 4th quarter on a field goal that ricocheted in. Okay. It was not the best game on offense or defense by any stretch, but it wasn't like they got blown out at home in that playoff game. We'll see. We'll see how this thing finishes out. I mean, should I call for his job if they end up with 11 wins? Should I call for his job if they end up winning yet another NFC South championship with 10 wins? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. At some point in time, and Matt alluded to it, and I'll put the exclamation point on it, we have seen Tony Dungy get fired when the playoff losses in the first round continue and continue and continue. And, there's that track record there. And if there's the right coach out there that the Lasers feel would level up this team and bring more intensity, more, oomph to the program, then they'll make that switch. Again, it's easy to sit there and fire Bowles. Okay, who are you going to get as the replacement? Who's the guy? So I think anybody calling for Todd Bowles to be fired, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But tell me who you're going to get as the replacement. Who's the guy? Because if you fire a head coach, then you don't have a head coach. So who's the replacement? So that's all I'm saying.
Mike Wells, thanks for the $4.99. Also, I think Rachaad is starting to show he's in over his head. I know we have injuries, but he just has no flow to his play calling. Again, they scored 32 points today.
Yeah.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $4.99. Says, go Panthers, win this trash division so we can finally end the cycle of endless mediocrity, because this isn't even a Dungy situation. He's worse than him. We get your feelings. Not a Todd Bowles guy.
Yep, got it.
Swagga Jacka Gaming, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Corey Moore, thank you for the $5. Light needs to be held accountable at the trade deadline. Call him out. Offense scores 32 points, and you don't win. Did Yaya play today?
Who at the deadline would you have liked to have seen Jason Light trade for that was out there, right? I mean, Jalen Phillips might be the guy you say, okay, maybe the Bucs should have given up a 3 for him. Understand that Jalen Phillips was in the Vic Fangio defense. Vic Fangio is the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. He was the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins a couple years ago. He knew Jalen Phillips. And when Jalen Phillips went to Philly, he was playing in a system that, boom, he played in before. So he was able to have an instant impact. So who's the guy that the Bucs should have traded for? Who is the guy that Jason Light didn't get? It's easy to sit there and say, fire Jason Light. He didn't help this team at the trade deadline. Who was available that the Buccaneers should have gotten that would have made a difference today? I don't know that there's anybody, Matt. I can't think of anybody that would have helped the Bucs defense today.
Yeah, I still go back to if Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby were available.
Yes, I'm with you. Go all in.
I think there's plenty of criticism that should go to Jason Light, because at some point, who cares about the draft picks when you can get a proven commodity?
Correct.
Like, this player could be the next Max Crosby or something like that.
Right. Well,
but the Raiders were steadfast, and certainly the Bucs know the Raiders front office. Max Crosby wasn't available, and Hendrickson had the hip injury.
Yep.
So after those two options, I don't know who the right option was.
Yep.
And that's why they didn't make a move.
Yep.
Kyle Miller, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Man, this game makes me miss that Seahawks game. Yeah, I mean, it was the same style of game by the Bucs defense. Bucs offense just wasn't perfect, unfortunately, the way that they were against the Seahawks.
Yep. The
Real Maverick, thank you for the $2. Can't get a 2-point even if it was given to them. Yeah, they have a big issue. I think the NFL, like the league rate, it's like 50%. So it's like if you don't get it one time, you get it the next time.
Yeah.
So by that logic, they might hit like
what are they're 1-6 right now? Is that right, Matt? 1-6?
I think 1-7.
1-7. Oh,
the only one they got was the Emeka octopus in the Seattle game. So,
correct.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Mike Wells, thank you for the $4.99. I think Todd has reached his ceiling as a head coach. He's average at best at the talent on his team is being held back by coaching.
I think it was today for sure. And again, here's the thing. Todd Bowles and his Buccaneer team, they need to win the winnable games. If you lose to the Carolina Panthers, you split that series, okay, I'll give you a pass on that. You lose next week to the Rams out in LA, I'll give you a pass on that. Hard to beat good teams, especially on the road. But, Matt, there's no excuse to me if this team loses any of their home games remaining. Falcons, Saints, Panthers, at home, Cardinals as well. That's 4 home games. You should win those 4. That right there gets you 10 wins, right? Then you go on the road, and I think you should beat a Miami Dolphins team that probably in week 17 not going to have a lot to play for. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Dolphins have played better lately.
They have played better.
But Mr.
King,
King,
firing the GM was the answer, right?
Yeah, apparently. I think they play like the Saints next week or someone too.
Yeah.
They have a very winnable game.
Yep.
And then they play the Jets at some point. Mr. King, thank you for the $2. The Seahawks game was their Super Bowl NFC South merchants. They have been recently, but hey, you can only play who's in your division or win the division that you're in. So, Tuss3, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Who are the superheroes on this team? Seriously.
I think they have some, but they don't show up on the regular. That's the problem. They have guys capable of playing exceptionally well, but they don't do it enough, right? That's the problem. Is I think Yaya Diaby can be a good edge rusher. Today he was just about invisible, right? Same with Vita Vea. He can be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He did not impact the game today, hardly at all. Maybe stuffing a couple of James Cook runs up the middle with filling the A gap. But in terms of impactful, game-changing, heroic plays, we have not seen that. We haven't seen it from Antoine Winfield Jr. Again, Tykee Smith made the plays today. I give Servasi Dennis and Jacob Parrish credit for coming up with their first interceptions of the year and first of their careers, but just not enough hero plays today. And you can't expect Levante David at age 35 to be that guy either.
Yeah. Farouk Kawab, thanks for the $5 super chat. I'm glad we didn't sign a big name pass rusher. I'd hate to see Max Crosby dropping back in coverage half the time. Farouk Kawab, you had some of the best comments today.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yep.
Mr. King, thanks for the $2 super chat. Yeah, the Rams are winning by 50. Stafford MVP. They might, the way the Bucs defense is played. Rams are winning 14-12. I think it's more credit to the Seahawks defense. But
for sure.
We'll see. Oh, Patrick Mahomes just threw a pick. And Shedeur Sanders was playing for the Browns. A lot of craziness going on in the NFL.
And Shedeur Sanders just got strip sacked as well, too.
Yeah. Florida boy in Atlanta. Thanks for the 1999 super chat. Says great recap, Matt and SR. Very frustrating game, but I'm still on board with the Bucs.
Yep.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta remember. This team probably gonna be 6-5, but probably gonna be 7-5 if they beat the Cardinals, right? I mean, that's the way it could play out. Lose to the Rams, beat the Cardinals, you're still 7-5. That's where the 2020 Super Bowl Buccaneers were, with a much healthier roster, with more star players, healthier players. Tom Brady, younger Mike, younger Chris on the field, AB, Gronk. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this team's going to the Super Bowl whatsoever, but I'm just saying, let's keep this in perspective a little bit here.
Just got to get into the dance and then see what happens.
And then play and coach better. Yeah.
Yes. Swagga Jacka Gaming, thanks for the $1.99. Says the Bucs have too many nice guys, zero accountability. That kind of goes back to what you were saying before.
Yeah, I agree.
Bucs Basin, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, yay, win against crap teams. Should be so proud.
Well, got to win the winnable games. I mean, we've seen this team stub its toe, even with Tom Brady in 2022. Remember that game, Matt, going into Carolina, losing to PJ, what was his name? The
Walker.
Quarterback,
PJ Walker.
Through 3 touchdowns. They lost to the Panthers 21-3 in Carolina. And that was just inexcusable. We haven't seen that type of loss yet. Hopefully we don't. If they have that type of loss this year, I'm going to be very concerned. Very concerned.
Bucs Basement with more anger towards Scott. Thanks for the $1.99. SR must not be aware. 5th seed is the Rams. One and done.
If that's the matchup, it very well could be. We'll see how the Bucs handle the Rams next week. I'm not anticipating a victory at all. And if the Rams come to Raymond James Stadium, I probably would not pick the Buccaneers to win that game either. So very well could be that scenario, one and done. We'll see what happens.
Even if Seattle comes to town, I know Bucs beat them, but a rematch, I don't know. I might take Seattle, but we'll see.
Yep.
Corey Moore, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says light wasting Mike and Levante's twilight year. Why did they even come back if you're not all in to win a draft pick next year? Doesn't help this year.
Again, y'all are complaining about Jason Light, and that's fine. But who that was traded for should this team have gotten? And what would have surrendered, right? I mean, there wasn't a lot of players traded at the deadline this year. There were some big mega deals, but did this team need a Sauce Gardner? They were not going to trade for a cornerback. Did they need another defensive tackle? Maybe you could say that, but this team does have Kalijah Kancey coming back next year. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The only pass rusher that was traded for was Jalen Phillips, and that was again by the Eagles because of Vic Fangio. He had him in that defense, and maybe he'll help the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Maybe that was the one that got away. Who knows? We'll find out.
Spider 2Y Banana, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. We need a true elite pass rusher. Yaya is not enough. The prospect of Walker is not enough. Too many times they get pressure but cannot bring it home. Jason Light needs to find a dog in the offseason or first round. That I think can completely flip everything that we've had issues with the Bucs defense. I mean, you get a good edge rusher.
Yeah.
Secondary probably gets more interceptions, and they've been taking the ball a lot more this year than they did last year. But yeah. I mean, a premier edge rusher changes everything.
I agree. There is not that guy on this roster that is a down in, down out threat. Like Jason Pierre-Paul in his prime, Shaq Barrett in his prime, Simeon Rice in his prime. There's just not that guy. And Yaya's not that guy. Yaya is a number 2 edge rusher, but we have not seen enough splash plays. We've not seen enough consistent pressure to where he's a difference maker.
813 Randy, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, why do Todd Bowles continue to have rushers guard wide receivers?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like it was a spot drop zone, and you had the receiver go out in the flat, and so it looked like Yaya was covering him, and he was underneath. But then when the receiver went behind him and Josh Allen was flushed to his right, Yaya wisely said, well, I'm going to cover this guy, and tried to keep up with the wide receiver. Didn't happen, obviously. And Benjamin Morrison was drifting over in coverage, and it was a quarters coverage. He's supposed to have that deep sideline, and he relinquished that to Tyrell Shaver, and it ended up being a touchdown. Looked like Diaby was in coverage, but he really was just trying to hustle and get to the ball. But not a good play, and it ended up costing the Buccaneers a touchdown, 1 of 6 on the day for the Bills.
A lot, too many, way too many. Mr. King, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says the defense is healthy. What's the excuse?
That's good point. I mean, the only 2 guys that were out were Jamel Dean, who is their top defensive back, and Hassan Reddick, who in theory and in payroll is your best pass rusher, but we haven't seen it yet this year. So I agree. Again, there's enough guys on this team, but nobody wanted to wear the superhero cape today. I think Tykee Smith probably the closest, and he was making his plays early and then kind of went into the tent for concussion protocol and thankfully was able to be cleared, but just didn't happen.
Fortunately did not. Geist85, thanks for the $2 super chat. Need an offensive coach and an actual defensive coordinator. Well, I don't think they're going to be making any adjustments, at least special teams. You'll see an adjustment, but I mean, as long as Bowles is here, you're not making too many changes to the coaching staff, and Josh Broussard needs more than 1 season to,
agreed,
prove that he can get it done. Sean D, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, when do we put the heat on Jason Light? We need a pass rush.
They tried. They drafted David Walker, and he looked very promising until he got hurt in the first week of camp. They signed Hassan Reddick. It was not for a lack of effort. When you draft a player and, they feel like they get a steal in the draft and with Walker, we'll never know because his rookie year was over before it started. And then Hassan Reddick is just obviously not that guy, but they tried. They put high money into an edge rusher. It maybe should have got Joey Bosa instead. He was coming off of an injury, but they didn't. So it is a failure at the end of the day. Yeah.
Heath Wiggins, parentheses, 49er Buccaneers, says, and thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says they still have talent and should have won 3 out of the 4 losses. Focus. Baker looked better, but still off the mark.
These last 2 games, there were opportunities to win for sure. There were opportunities to win. They had the lead, in the fourth quarter, and in the game against the Bills today. Did they have the lead in the fourth quarter against the Patriots, Matt? I don't know that they did. I think they had lead.
They didn't have the lead, but they had the ball
5
with
points.
They had the ball with a chance to score a touchdown and take the lead. So Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, Grizz is not the problem. Injuries plus defensive and special teams malfeasance on players and coaching are the culprit this season. Not too late to fix it.
Not too late to fix it. I mean, to me, did they have 3 or 4 kick returns that were around midfield today? I got to go back and look at the game book. At least 3 that I'm aware of.
Yeah, there are a lot.
That's just really unforgivable. Like that, and then you look back at the Eagles game that blocked field goal for a touchdown, or was it a block punt in that game? There's been so many blocks this year. I get them confused, Matt. But there was a block for a touchdown against the Eagles, right? So they were chasing those points the entire game. That ultimately cost them that game. And I think special teams played a huge role today. You can't give an NFL MVP the ball at midfield over and over and over again and expect to win. It's ridiculous. It just is.
I think Todd Bowles said it best. He was like, we essentially played 7-on-7 out there with starting the ball at midfield.
Yeah, that's right.
Just can't happen. Keita Villain has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 2 months. Thank you so much for your support. Says, makes no sense why Zion is getting paid $16 million a year just to give up 3rd and longs every week. Morrison can't play, man. And we have no edge, like I said before. All correct points.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Artech79, thanks for the $4.99, says, this team is okay as long as expectations are tempered. No pass rush is still the missing piece. Parentheses for years now.
Yep.
To me, it's the most glaring issue.
I agree.
For the Bucs. Like, linebacker, inside linebacker has been an issue, but no premier edge rusher has really held this group back.
I agree.
HY Jabril, thank you for this super chat. Not sure what the currency is, but cool seeing 500. Says, we have 2 bad corners now with Dean out, and the 2 really good teams we beat needed Baker 4th quarter heroics, not Bowles defensive guru nonsense. I mean, football is ultimately a team game. Bucs did score 10 points off of turnovers given by the defense and special teams. So it is a team game there. Baker has had to play Superman and be a superhero, and he has at times, but wasn't enough today.
Yep.
Sunshine and Lollipops Cat, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, lots of emotional posts. Forgive me. Sadly, one of the better of the bad teams going nowhere. I thought we got to this one. 49 years, I can't shake this team. We talked you off the ledge before, Cap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Desert Dog 2K, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, does Jorgensen Law handle coaching malpractice?
Let me see. Jorgensen Law. Champions of the injured and disabled, St. Petersburg, Florida, get a free case evaluation, no fees until we win. I don't know that they handle that area of practice, or in this case, malpractice, but maybe they do. Give them a call at 727-347-7733. Again, the Jorgensen brothers, big Tampa Bay fans. So that might be a great question for them tomorrow. Give them a call at the office and see if they do. Maybe they can represent you as a fan and have you get 3 hours and 10 minutes of your life back from today's game. So.
Ethan Wiggins with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, Baker looked better, but still not hitting his targets. We have talent even with injuries, but making mental mistakes. He was better.
He was better
with his throwing today. Not 100%, but better overall.
Yeah, I mean, as great as Josh Allen played, he started off terrible. He made some really bad mistakes too. So it wasn't like either quarterback was perfect today. It's just the Bucs defense allowed Josh Allen to do more than the Bills defense allowed Baker Mayfield to do. I mean, it was kind of easy for Josh Allen, especially down there in the red zone with those touchdown runs. Can't do that.
Meets McGee, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, well, chewing the defense out didn't help, but like I told Matty Diamonds earlier, Sean Tucker won me $680 today, 1 touchdown short of $3K by Baker. Yeah, congrats again to you. That's an awesome win.
That's a hell of a win.
Mr. King, thank you for the $5 super chat. The Lions were 15-2 in 2024 and had an injury report longer than the Bible. Why is 6-5 okay? Why is 10-7 okay? Why is 1 and done at home okay?
Good points. No one's saying it's okay. We're just trying to be realistic here. The Lions were an absolute juggernaut on offense, and they won those games. Those were shootout fashion games. And right now, I mean, if you were to take, let's say, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs and who last year? Sam Laporta. Let's take those three players out of the mix for the Lions. Are they scoring the points that they did last year on offense? And are they winning all of those games? No, they're not. And I'll just rattle off a couple of scores just to kind of make this point here last year. When the injuries were settling in, they beat Minnesota 31-29. They beat a really bad Tennessee team 52-14. They beat Green Bay 24-14. Beat Houston 26-23. They beat Jacksonville 52-6. They beat the Colts, a bad Colts team, 24-6. 23-20. They beat Green Bay 34-31. They lost to Buffalo 48-42. Kind of a similar game as this one here. Yeah. They beat the Bears 34-17. They beat the 49ers 40-34. Right. And then, Sam Darnold imploded in that final game, and they won 31-9. But then in the postseason, they lost 45-31 because they didn't, they threw too many interceptions and didn't have enough healthy bodies. But they feasted on some teams because they were putting up a ton of points on offense, and they could not be stopped. Right now, this Bucs offense is banged up where they don't have this type of firepower to put 32 points every week.
We'll kind of see with the Lions too, because I think they just put Sam Laporta on injured reserve. So we'll see how they look tonight. Yep. They still obviously have other talented players. But Sean D, thanks for the $4.99. Says this team can't get to the quarterback. I put that on Jason Light. Todd can only dial up so much. But did he dial up enough in this game?
He didn't dial up enough. No. Yeah. He did early and it looked good. And then it stopped and it looked bad.
Guys, 85, thank you for the $2. I'm just glad y'all talk me out of driving off a cliff. That's what we're here for.
Saving Bucs fans one at a time.
We're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about what was good. We're going to talk about what was bad and everything else in between. TJ Smith, thanks for the $1.99. Says, can we please stop dropping D linemen into coverage? I'm with you, TJ Smith. The answer, though, probably is no, they won't. Richard Taker, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, thank you. Says, trade for a new fourth down and new analytic guy.
Yeah,
That's done a good job.
That's curious. That's a good question for Todd Bowles tomorrow. Is what did Zach Beislein say? Right? Did he say to punt it, or is that just Todd overruling him? That's something we talked about too, Matt. Is we talked about you have this guy in your ear, the game management guy, but is Todd Bowles going to listen to him all the time, or is he going to overrule him? And it looked like he overruled him by saying, nope, I think my defense can make a stop. Even though we've only given up 6 touchdowns today, this is going to be the time where we stop the Bills. They're not going to get a touchdown on us, and that's exactly what happened.
Brayon Pinkney, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, it's starting to get old that we have to fight for the division, but not for a 1 seed yearly. Yeah, it's kind of rinse repeat.
It is. And I mean, when you lose Mike and Bucky and Chris doesn't come back and you lose Cody Malk and you've got Ben Bredesen out and Tristan Wirfs missed the first 3 games of the year, even though they started off 3-0. It's just, this was not going to be the year this team was going to contend for the number 1 seed in the NFC. I mean, they don't have all hands on deck. There are healthier teams out there in the NFC, Matt, and this is not one of them.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just not. Note, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. In all honesty, our defense is a bunch of very average players. Yaya, Logan, Nelson, Dennis, McCollum, Dean, Morrison, all Jags. I wouldn't say they're all Jags.
I wouldn't say they're all Jags.
Logan Hall, you can definitely say that. Anthony Nelson, you could say that. I think the jury's out of Servassier Dennis because it's his first year as a starter. Dean and Morrison, too early to tell. Dean definitely is not. Yeah, maybe you could put in that conversation, but I don't think Dean is. McCollum this year, but overall, I'm going to say no.
I think the problem is in games like this, you have to have 2 or 3 guys come to the fight, and that's where those Buccaneer defenses of old, when you had, the Ndamukong Suhs, the Jason Pierre-Paul, the Levante David, who was younger, you had Winfield, who was a rookie but still good in 2020 and 2021, and you had Shaq Barrett. You had guys that would have, 2 or 3 of those guys would have really good games at the same time. Same thing with the Bucs defense of old under Bonnie Kiffin. You'd have Simeon Rice and Sapp and Brooks and Barber and Lynch. And 3 out of those 6 guys would have great games. And that would be enough to win. But when you have one guy, Tykee Smith, show up today, is not enough.
Richard Taker, thanks for the $1.99, says Todd Lovie Smith Bowles' job is safe, people.
No, sorry. Never going to get me to even put Lovie Smith in the same sentence as Todd Bowles. Lovie Smith was an absolute terrible coach, horrible coach, the worst Bucs coach since Lehman Bennett. He was that bad here. So, no, I refuse that. I'm sorry. You could not convince me that Lovie Smith is anywhere close to being the caliber of coach that Todd Bowles is. It's not even close. Lovie Smith was a loser in Tampa. Loser.
Damn. Q's44, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says Tuck did great, but sad we lost. Yeah, he was the star player on offense.
He was.
It was an awesome game that unfortunately will fall by the wayside in Bucs history because they did not win the game. But I mean, it was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
Let's see if he is the starting running back next week. He should be, but we've kind of seen this before, Matt. We saw Sean Tucker win the NFC Offensive Player of the Week award in New Orleans and then just kind of get lost in the shuffle. And he never really had that type of amount of carries or where he was featured. I just hope that if Bucky's not going to be back next week, and I'm not holding my breath whatsoever, I don't think he'll be back until at least the Arizona game at the earliest.
Yeah.
Give me more Sean Tucker, please. No disrespect to Rachaad White, but I have eyes. This guy's electric. He can make big plays, right? I mean, 3 touchdowns. This was not a fluke. Granted, it was against an easier run defense, but he had a much better day given the opportunities than Rachaad White did. So I want to see him do it again next week against a very good Rams defense. Let's see what he can do. I think he deserves the opportunity to kind of be that guy. Right now, Rams beating the Seahawks 21-12, in case you're interested. And the 49ers are taking it too. The Cardinals 35-10 right now.
Yeah, and they will be going up against Jacoby Brissett. I don't think Kyler Murray will be back by then.
Right. Yeah.
As he just threw one directly at the feet of the receiver. Yeah, it's just he has more explosive plays. And when you're going up against a team like the Rams who have a good defense, you need the most explosive guy in the game. So I hope that is an adjustment that they make. Bucks Basement, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says light drafts, top edge rusher, JTS, and Bustwell. LOL.
Don't forget Noah Spence.
Yeah.
2nd round pick as well. That's the Achilles heel. You got to get another pass rusher. He found a couple in trades and free agency, but he has not had luck in the draft.
TJ Smith, thank you for the $1.99, says, so much for Bull's speech on Monday making a difference. He sent the message, but the message apparently got lost in translation.
I'm not going to give the players a pass here, but I think this was scheme. I think that he called the wrong defenses at the wrong time. And the players did make the plays, but this was not like I called the right defense and y'all blew it. This was like I didn't call the right defense. I put my players in bad positions. They didn't make plays. So I think that's the one thing. I just want to put this up here too. Action Bastard, man, worse than Shiano. Yeah, Shiano actually had 7 wins in a season, which is more than Lovie Smith had. Lovie Smith, his first year was 2-14, did not even win a home game, and then had 6 wins the next year. So 8 wins in 2 years. Yeah, he's the worst. And he was terrible for the locker room, too. Terrible coach all the way around.
Ryan H., thanks for the $4.99. Says, I'll meet you halfway, LOL. I want to see Jason trade up during the draft to get better players if there are none available for a splash signing. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
TJ Smith, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Should have let Godwin walk and signed an edge. I think that's revisionist history.
It's 2020.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to say that now.
Yep.
A-Train, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, if there's one criticism I have for Jason Light, is that he relies way too much on rookies or development on second-year guys, edge, linebacker, and tight end.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is he's drafting players. Some of them are stars. Some of them are just starters and probably should be replaced. Payne Durham's a player. He's a starter in 12. Can you get a better tight end than Payne Durham? Yeah, I probably can. Is Servassier Dennis, is he a starting caliber Mike? Or is he just a starter, somebody who's just better than KJ Britt? He's a player that you probably want to try to upgrade, right? So, but at least there's not a lot of misses, like where they can't play. I mean, Chris Braswell to me is going down the miss trail. He's going down the JTS trail where he just does not look like a player to me. Like he's not going to be a guy. So you wasted a second round pick on a guy that probably is outside linebacker 5 on most rosters. Yeah. Just haven't seen it from him. So I think that's
he's just they're not even playing him, and that tells just as much.
Speaks volumes,
considering they're not even getting the production.
Yeah.
Beats McGee, thanks for the $5. Baker is off, but he's not confident in his line. He doesn't step into his throws. He falls back when throwing forward. Yeah, there's a lot of feet movement on his throws that I think makes him a little more off kilter than in other situations.
Yeah. Well, also too, Ben Bredesen and I mean, Mike Jordan's a practice squad player, and they signed Dan Feeney off the Bills practice squad. So it's like 2 out of the 5. You want him to step up in a pocket that has got 2 replacement guards there. I mean, I'm just saying, like there's something to that,
TJ Smith, thank you for the $1.99. Says, I'm having flashbacks to the Smiths, parentheses, Mike and Lovey.
I'm going to just have to put a ban on Lovey Smith being uttered on this podcast. I hate to I'm a big free speech guy. Don't want to pull rank, but Lovey Smith was horrible for this team. I mean, Greg Schiano was bad. Greg Schiano had 4 wins in 2013. They hired Lovey Smith, and they actually got worse. They had 2 wins. Like he got half the amount of wins that Greg Schiano did in the season Schiano was fired. And then his next year, the first game of the season, he stripped Leslie Frazier of the defensive play calling. And then you could get the slant on Lovey Smith's defense every single play if you wanted. It was just a horrible coach. I mean, forget what he did in Chicago. I'm not judging him on that. Here in Tampa, those 2 years were as bad as it gets.
I think maybe what TJ is trying to say is just like the poor defensive performance. Because Mike Smith as the defensive coordinator,
yes,
obviously there's a lot of issues. So
yeah, that's true.
I think maybe that's where he was going with that. But
okay, that's fine. I just get triggered with Lovey, so sorry.
No, I hear it. Yeah, I got it. David Colazzo, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. You two are my therapy. Listening to you two, excellent work. I'll be at the game next week. I pray we can figure something out. Go Bucs. Well, appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Believe me, we like having these post-game shows be about the Bucs winning a game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't do that the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
But we're going to be here no matter what. But thank you so much for the kind words. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Corey Moore, thanks for the $10. This team will continue to be 1 draft pick away. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, but that's what we have been conditioned for. Afraid to be great.
At some point in time, the Blazers are not going to settle for this, because I've just seen it before with Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
When it's they should be winning, and I'll never forget, when I did a word association. I want to say this is maybe 2007, 2008 season with Rondé Barber. Did a Pewter Reports conversation with him for the old Pewter Report magazine. And I asked him, I said, I'm going to do some word association. I threw out, Derek Brooks and John Gruden and Warren Sapp, and I threw out Tony Dungy. And he said, missed opportunities. This is the coach that turned around the franchise, right? This was him saying this about Tony Dungy, the guy who turned the Buccaneers into the Buccaneers. And I'll never forget, Rondé said missed opportunities. And you think about it, and it's kind of true. It's that particular window, the Super Bowl window, was really there from 99 to 2002. And they won it in that final year. And that happened to be John Gruden when the Blazers got rid of Tony Dungy. So that was kind of telling. But there will be a point in time if Bowles does not win in the postseason, if he doesn't win in the playoffs, it's going to be costly for him, because at the end of the day, all these NFC championships, they're great, they're necessary, get you into the dance, get you that home playoff game, but there is nothing that upsets the Blazers more. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, not getting in the playoffs upsets them more. But if you're in the playoffs and you have a home playoff game, you better win those playoff games. That's the thing. And that's something that Todd Bowles hasn't done enough of. And he needs to win this wild card game. Otherwise, there's going to be some pressure on him in 2026 for sure.
No doubt about it. Uncle Jay, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, is there any chance we bring Jamel Dean back next season? Also, I'll be at the next week's game. I'm nervously to go now.
No, I think that bridge has been burned. Jamel has been a great teammate this year, but I think that he doesn't like what happened to him, and he is ready to move on. He's going to play hard this year, and why shouldn't he? Because he's playing for his next team. He's playing for his next contract. He's balling out. Good for Jamel. Great guy. I like Jamel. He's funny. He's accountable. Great teammate, great locker room guy, but just I think he's done in Tampa. I don't think it'd be a miracle if they re-signed him.
Yeah, I can't say I blame Jamel Dean.
I know.
That's why you get this chance to become a free agent. If you ball out, then someone will pay you.
Yep.
CatBuck88, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, as always, thanks for the coverage and thanks for putting up with us. We're not putting up with you.
Yeah,
we appreciate
all the fans.
Support.
Yeah.
Rayon Pinkney, thank you for this $5 super chat.
Appreciate it.
On Baker's face was telling when Todd decided to punt the ball. I believe Baker would have run that ball. He would have if no one was open and he needed to get the first down. But yeah, I mean, that's going to go down as the biggest non-decision in the game, in my opinion. HY Gibral, thanks for this 200 super chat of that payment. Bucs and Packers have good, overconfident GMs.
I don't know about the Packers. If Adam Slavon was here, he could probably answer that better than I could. But the Bucs. Jason Light likes his team, and injuries have played a role too. That's the X factor that it's kind of hard to kind of get a grasp on. But thank you for the Kenyan shilling. That's the second time we've had the Kenyan currency, Matt, here on the show.
Oh.
The KES, as they call it.
That's awesome. Thanks for the KES.
Yeah.
Aiden, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, love Todd, but we would be so much better off with Dave or Liam. I guess that's head coach. No heart, no hunger.
Look out for the Fighting Dave Canales, man.
Big win today.
Big win today. They've swept the Falcons. Did they beat the Falcons early this year? I think they did.
They did. They beat the Falcons 30-0 in
that's right.
in Carolina, and then won today in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, Raheem Morris is going to get fired after this year.
Probably. I mean, all that talent on Atlanta and not getting the job done. And Michael Penix got hurt today too. Kirk Cousins had to finish that game.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Uncle Jay, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, also, what were y'all's thoughts on Bowles calling that challenge? I didn't mind it in the moment because it was kind of like, hey, let's challenge this, but we can talk it over at the same time.
Right.
But there were like two plays. One was the referee spotting the ball, which I was ready to lose my mind over.
Yeah, me too. Horrible spot.
Yeah, and that one I was thinking, well, if you had two challenges, maybe you do challenge it, but it was early in the second half, and you don't want to challenge it, lose it, and then you're down a timeout, which obviously timeouts are more important in the second half. So I didn't really have an issue with the challenge because it was kind of a quasi timeout anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Some funny comments here real quick. Piss Missile Pete, SR, turning to autocracy. Levy didn't like being questioned at pressers. No, he didn't at all. And, we were not Tennessee ready. Like, he was a joke of a coach. Laugh out loud. Did Lovey say something untoward about your family or something? No, he just wasn't a good coach. And, called for him to be fired, and he was. And, it wasn't good. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, you are what your record says you are. When you have 2 years and you put up 8 wins, right? You average 4 wins a season. Like, that's not good. You deserve to be fired. So, Carter Casey says the Falcons get to use their $40 million backup quarterback. Yeah. Oh, you guys are great. Greatly appreciate that. We're going to have a not so victory Monday tomorrow. It will be a Monday podcast at 4 p.m. So we want you to be there because we're going to do roll call at 4:20. That'll lighten everybody's mood and get everybody back in good spirits. We'll get a chance to talk to Todd Bowles after he watches the film, and we'll see what he has to say about the pitiful performance from his defense, and update you on any injuries. And we'll see how long Jamel Dean is out. He is the latest injured Buccaneer that is playing. Just a reminder too that I want to let you know the folks over at Walk-Ons would love to have you come by tonight for a meal, or why not go up there tomorrow? It's 3 p.m. to close the happy hour. Eat like a winner, drink like a champ. You can watch Monday Night Football there and get the happy hour prices on all your beers and your house wines, and all of the options they have on their happy hour menu for food. $4 hush puppies or onion rings, $7 boom boom shrimp, half order of the waffle cheese fries, spinach and artichoke dip, which is amazing, $7. $8 for the boneless wings, the cheeseburger sliders. You can make a meal out of those. And if you can't make it tomorrow, it's okay, because they have happy hour all day on Tuesday, plus $5 Tito's. It's the best happy hour you're going to find. You eat like a winner, drink like a champ at Walk-Ons. And just remember, too, they're the place to go for the games. And they also have some excellent catering options as well. You can take your event to the next level. 3 Tampa Bay area locations: Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, and Lakeland, where you can get catering, pick that up, have your watch party. If you're having an office party, holiday party coming up, you can order the catering directly online or in the app. The online address is catering.walkons.com. Great food, not a bad seat in the house, TVs galore. That's the place to go to watch your sports.
Carlos R. with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, guys, is there a team in the league right now with as many or more key injuries playing better than the Bucs? I don't know, but I got to think there are other top teams playing well with key injuries. 49ers definitely comes to mind.
Yeah.
They are kind of getting some of their guys back.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to win today. I know the Bucs beat them, obviously.
Yeah.
Chargers got smoked today, but they've dealt with a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah.
Corey Moore with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, appreciate your guys' neutralism, if that's a word.
Appreciate you, Corey. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Just frustrating to believe in them more than their efforts show their own belief.
Yeah, I mean, I just say this, just like accept the L next week and watch. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for y'all to come back next week and just, stick it to me and just say, Reynolds, they beat the Rams out in LA. I'm not anticipating that happening. What I anticipate is this team being 6-5 and then winning against the Cardinals to get to 7-5, winning against the Saints to get to 8-5. And then we'll see where this team is health-wise and momentum-wise and all that down the stretch, because you have a couple games against the Panthers that are coming up that are going to be tough. So this team is a couple weeks away from should be, we'll put the word should in italics and then quotes, should be 8-5. That's not a bad record. That's going to be a good record given all the injuries and all that. But as we get closer to the postseason, that wild card game, because I think the Buccaneers are going to be seed number 4, given their record, they're going to be seed number 4 and have a home playoff game. And then any game after that, most likely going to be on the road. They got to win in the playoffs. Otherwise, you're just treading water. Otherwise, it's like, oh, got another win. Maybe got to 11 wins in the season, but couldn't get over the hump. So
right now, the narrative for the Bucs is that they are good against the bad teams, but don't play that well against the good teams.
That's right.
And at this point, unless they beat the Rams on Sunday night, that's going to stay until they hopefully reach the postseason.
Yeah,
and they'll have an opportunity then to erase that type of narrative too. But it has to happen. So,
folks, we are an hour and 48 minutes into this post-game podcast. Y'all brought the comments, the super chats. I've been doing a lot of reading in the comments. We couldn't get to all of them because we have super chat, differential that we got to put those up first. But just fantastic performance from you guys tonight. You performed better than the team that you love. So hats off to you, Pewter people. You were fantastic tonight in the chat. We even had a couple of new subscribers join today. If you are so inclined and you want to show your support for Pewter Report, because we didn't take an L today. The team we covered did, but not us. And y'all made that clear today with the amount of views and likes and everything that you have bestowed upon us, plus the super chats. Thank you again very much for your support. You can become a Pewter Report TV YouTube channel member. We're growing that by leaps and bounds. 4 different membership levels. Everybody gets the loyalty badges and the custom emojis. There's different price points, $3.99, $6.99, $9.99, $24.99. I encourage you, if you're a Pewter People member or Pewter Pro member, bump up to at least the Pewter Premier. It's going to get you that bonus podcast. I think Matt and I had the best Pewter Insider podcast of the year on Friday. It was so much fun. It was great. It's not just a B-side or an extra podcast. It is just as good as the other ones, if not better, with the freshest information from the injury situation. So please sign up. Find the membership level that fits your budget the best. All of the money we get goes towards our travel budget, so we can go to the Senior Bowl, the Combine, the NFL annual meeting, a couple of these away games, and bring you guys the best Bucs coverage that you deserve. So look at it from that standpoint. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You support our efforts here. We're going to go on the road, get you all of the draft and free agency intel we can, and deliver it right back to you on the Pewter Report podcast and on pewterreport.com, Matt.
That is right. So if you're not already doing so, please make sure you follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video. How you feel about the Bucs following this loss in a very high-scoring game. So thank you to everyone that spent this whole almost 2 hours with us.
Set a record.
Comments. Yeah, probably is, besides like our draft show.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But thank you, everyone, for your support. Thanks for chatting with us for over the last 2 hours. A lot of good info and back and forth and stuff like that. So, yeah, that'll do it for us this evening. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everyone, for watching. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. So see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.